Don't forget to subscribe.
Welcome back. We are your hosts. My name is Donald Hardaway, and this is Lamar Burrows. Here, we talk about just current events and just, I don't know, guy stuff, I suppose, right? Right or wrong. On the internet, they say we listen and we don't judge.
But by default,
By default,
we judge it.
we judge. Right? Now, a couple hot topics going on right now.
Yeah, start it out.
We got Diddy, obviously.
Obviously, can't get away from that.
We got the young woman down in Georgia,
Yeah, Adriana Smith.
Adriana Smith. And I got a question for you. I know you're not ready for this question, so I know you're not ready.
Okay.
I'm not even going to prime you. Nothing. You're just going to hear this, and you're going to have to stop and sit with it for a while.
Oh, you're gonna shoot from the hip.
No. This is a targeted question. It's not nothing from the hip. You gonna have to shoot from the hip because you're not gonna have time to get ready for it.
And I'm Man Brown Jr.
Oh, I'm off. So we're gonna talk about this because
That's an edited part.
No. Because in the prior episode, I called you African American, and I said I'm becoming more African American every day. I use my government name. I use his government name. Now he want to try to correct me. It be your own fucking people, yo. It be your own fucking people.
Yo, I had to correct all of those F-bombs and N-words in the last video.
We can't say that?
No, they don't. They don't come up on the captions.
Oh. Oh, you say so you mean like retyped them?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. See, and this is why we need y'all support because we edit our own videos. You know what I mean? We're not all fancy yet. Where we got people in the background holding the cameras and editing the videos for us. So on that note, like, share, and subscribe.
For real. Please do us that favor.
On that note, like, share, and subscribe. All right. Who you want to go first, bro?
Let's take it off with Diddy.
Go with Diddy? Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know, Diddy is facing federal charges. And by default, you can't have cameras or still images taken or any recordings taken because of federal court. So let's stop and talk about that right there.
Yeah, you only get audio on federal record.
Once it's released, you get the notes that they type up. You can read the notes.
No, what I'm saying
But you
is,
can't audio, you can't record, you can't take a listening device in there and then bring it out and play it.
no, you can't. But they have a court recorder.
Yeah, they got a court recorder.
They got news people.
They still
in it.
got stenographers.
Correct. That's for the legal part. I'm talking about the public. The public hears the trial via news, but only on voice. There's no camera in there.
No,
The only thing they get is sketches.
they can only sketch it. Yeah. No audio devices for sure.
Yeah. No audio in federal. No visual in federal court, and no visual in New York State. Period. And the trial is in New York State.
But check this out, though. But this is my question, right? So you have people who are there actually in the courtroom, and then they have an overflow room where they're showing it. You can watch it live. Okay. Before we get into the whole Diddy situation and all the shit that's coming out, should there be video and audio recording in federal court? Should that become a thing?
I don't know. I don't see this a big thing.
I think it should be.
I think it should be across the land. And if it's going to be in federal court, it should be in every jurisdiction.
That's the reason why it should be video.
Okay.
That's the reason why it should be able to be recorded, because this is a public process. Judges federal judges are appointed, some are voted, but most of them are appointed. But it's still a public position. This is not a private position.
Right.
You see? Judges are elected officials. Believe me, you don't think about it like that, but just like the mayor or your congressman, except for people on the Supreme Court, most other judges are voted in. But you only vote for a judge every 10 years.
Yeah, but federal judges are all appointed by the president.
I got you. But what I'm saying is that they're still public officials.
Yeah.
right?
I
So
can hear
because
that.
it's a public process, there should be video allowed in the court. I'm saying this should be televised.
Okay, I can agree. I don't say it's wrong right now, but I can agree with you being right.
You don't say that is wrong.
I'm saying I don't see nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying if you're saying that everybody, all courts across the United States should have video,
Yeah,
then I can see you being right.
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. To cut down on the railroading. Because you like to follow these crime shows, and you know what I'm saying? You one got you in a chokehold right now because you swear this white lady is getting railroaded for
She
real.
is, because she's innocent.
Well, let the public decide.
Right, but the public seeing the court case versus hearing the court case ain't gonna make her no less innocent.
What I'm saying is that, okay, so when I say let the public decide, I don't mean about her case. I mean about the process, right?
Right.
Make sure that the case is being handled accordingly. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, even if I was only listening to this on audio, I can hear the railroading. The railroading is when you have, okay, there's a prosecution team,
Yeah.
right?
We know
And
how
then
the
you
court
got a
work.
defense team,
We know how the court work.
right?
Yeah.
When the judge is clearly in the pocket for the prosecutor,
See, in the pocket, that's not being objective, bro.
no, this is clear. I'm not. There is no more objectivity in this case.
Okay. What I'm saying is this, right?
In this case, I'm talking about. That's it. I'm not talking about in every case.
So to tell you that, okay, we all understand the power of video to a degree, right?
Yeah.
So-
Pictures worth 1,000 words.
Right. So I'm watching a clip of this police officer who pulls over a judge. She has her robe on, black lady.
Yeah. I think I seen that one.
He covered up the cam, broke her back window. Right? Mm-hmm. And then said your tail light is out.
What that got to do with the back window?
I mean, he broke the tail light.
Oh, he broke her tail light.
He broke her
Okay.
tail light. He had already pulled her over, right? Giving her, old black lady giving her a hard time in this Trump administration.
Oh, yeah.
She kept her composure, right? Because she knew instantly that this cop didn't realize that he is talking to a judge.
Right.
He literally thought it was a costume. He covered up his body cam, broke the tail light, and then said, "The reason I pulled you over is because you got a broken tail light." She said, "The tail light you just broke."
See, corruption.
You understand what I'm saying?
Corruption.
Like,
That is fine.
now, if that law officer was working on the case that you following, that, you know what I'm saying, like that could have been misconstrued anyway in the court process. Is my point.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
So
Back on subject though.
back on subject. So
Diddy.
I'm saying that this should be televised. So that's that. There's a lot of information coming out about the freak offs and the male escorts and the intimidation and Diddy using his business as a means to operate however he was living his life. Right?
Okay.
But let's be clear. Diddy is being charged racketeering,
Sex trafficking.
sex trafficking, and conspiracy. Right? So you can consider him to be mean, but that got nothing to do with what he actually charged for. You can say, "Oh, this is a nasty nigga." While he's doing a lot of nasty shit, none of that is what he's being charged for. Right? They got to prove that someone was transported for the purpose of sexual conduct for money. Right? They got to prove that she was, we're talking about Cassie, that she was moved against her will, either emotionally, mentally, or physically for the purpose of sexual activity. And there was some financial exchange in that process, even if it didn't involve her. So flying the male escort out to have sex with them is a part of that process. Mm-hmm. Right? Coercion. She's already admitted that, so this is a fine line. is Diddy.
Okay.
And
well,
all the glory that come with him, right? But at the same time, she's saying, listen, I loved him. So, you know, she's going to do what any human that's in a relationship is going to do. She also made mention that I was concerned about my career because I had a record deal with 10 albums. Like, come on. She was concerned that all that might go away.
basically, what I've been hearing is it's going to be up to the jury to decide, was she a willing participant
Absolutely.
and something went wrong, or if she was the victim.
Yes.
That's what it's going to boil down
That's
to.
what it's going to boil down to.
And there's a lawyer on Diddy's side by the name of Brian Steele, and that guy's a dog. Like Prime say,
He's a dog.
he's a dog.
So you believe? Oh, I'm sorry. No, let me listen. Let me listen, and not judge yet.
I'm not judging because I don't know all the facts of the case. But all I say is when Brian Steele get on the mic, he stripped things back.
Is he Johnny Cochran though?
Oh, he Johnny Cochran. He white Johnny Cochran. Yeah. Yeah, this the white Johnny Cochran. This guy's dope.
So, in essence, what he has to do is make it seem like she was a willing participant in all of this. Not some of it, in all of it. That's a tall ass, my boy. That's a tall ass.
That's not what he got to do.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. She got to be for the charges to stick.
His job is to just poke holes in their theory.
In whose theory? The
Prosecution.
prosecution theory?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Once I start placing doubt in there, it's over.
Does no mean no?
Huh? Yeah. No means no. That's not what I'm saying. See, there you go, sliding off tangent.
Oh, not at all.
I'm saying you need 12 jurors to say there's no doubt that this happened for there to be a guilty charge. The minute you go to thinking about how else could this have happened, that's a doubt.
Correct.
And when I plant this seed of doubt on every witness, that's how it go. Every witness you bring up,
So the prosecution.
I break their credibility.
Okay. So the prosecution brought up the main sex worker. Right? Escort. I'm sorry, main escort. Who also got paid for sex, but right? He said, in fact, I did all of these things for sure, and I did them for money, except for when things got real personal between them and I didn't want to be involved. I just left and didn't even take the money. Very clear on that. Right?
Okay.
The defense asked him, basically, had you ever volunteered your services? His answer was no. Except for the times when they got into it, I heard her screaming, I heard some loud noise, I didn't want to be involved, I hauled ass. Till they called me back the next time.
Till they call me back the next time.
Yeah. Right? They asked him, had y'all ever communicated in the background? He said, I hit her once or twice, but she never really answered like that until it was time
For the next freak off.
for the next one. You see? The defense is not doing a bang-up job. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're not doing a bang-up job. Cassie was on the stand for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? Now, the brutal part in all of this is, she has a husband. She has
Yeah, I've been seeing
2 other
people
children.
I've been seeing people say they sorry for him
Yeah.
because he got to hear all the shit.
He got to
that
hear
was
all
doing.
this. He got to hear all this. Now, that's a whole nother conversation. Like, yo, Diddy was your ex. Like, we ain't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? And she, not to say that she want to do all of that anymore. I'm just saying.
She probably shell shocked.
Exactly. So, kudos to him. Shout out to him for, being the one to look past all that. And
I'm gonna say prayers for him because he didn't know all this.
no, he knew.
He did.
He knew.
She didn't tell him all this.
I bet she did. Maybe not in this detail, not this publicly, but I'm almost,
I'm not talking about this public. I'm talking about because they getting everything out.
I mean,
You gotta be able to-
she didn't go blow by
gotta-
blow for sure.
Bare your soul.
Yeah. But I'm sure it didn't go that way. But at the same time, still, shout out to him for standing up through this whole process and not wavering. You know what I'm saying? That takes a good deal of integrity, right? And I'll be honest with you, I don't think a black dude would have did it, because he white.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I take a different kind of cojones, man.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? So, so all this information is coming out now. Granted, this is her past.
Right.
It's not a representation of the kind of woman that she is today. Right? She's a mother. He got with her through the whole. Well, I didn't say he got with her through the whole thing, but he was by her side through the whole lawsuit thing.
Right.
Right? And that went how it was supposed to go, because insurance companies know when to give up. You know what I mean? People don't understand that that money didn't come from Diddy. That money came from the insurance company said we paying her. Diddy had nothing to do with that. None of that money came out of his pocket. Right? He couldn't contest it even if he wanted to. So yes, he didn't lose the lawsuit. The company lost the lawsuit. And nobody in higher management said we're going to pay. Insurance said, nah, fuck that, y'all paying now. You know what I mean? You're going to pay now. Okay? This ain't going to go no further. Pay.
Okay.
And they signed off on it because they ain't had no choice. Right? So she got that money fair and square. So it's not like old lady we talked about the last time when she on trying to raise money.
Oh, and I heard that they're not gonna give her that money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. But I gotta do some further research. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I want her to get that money. But
Yeah,
that's
I don't
neither
want
here.
her to get that money
I'm
either.
glad you said it. I'm glad you brought that up. So, anyway, right? Going through this trial, all this information is coming out. And she's got to bare her soul. I would think that she's not happy about this, because this is now, like, this is in the cyberspace. So, when her kids get older,
Yeah,
they'll have to live
yeah.
with this. Right? Does
Once it's
anybody
on the
feel
internet,
bad for?
it's on the internet.
Yeah. Was anybody feeling bad for the Diddy's family? I haven't heard not a single piece of remorse about what his kids might be going through as a result of this.
Because they don't care about him. They don't care about what his kids may have to go through. Let's just keep it real.
I ain't seen that one Ciroc boy at the trial today. On video being line to go to trial. I ain't seen any celebrity.
Well, I didn't see no celebrities when
They
YSL
got-
was on trial.
Yeah, but YSL not Diddy.
What that mean? Support is support.
That's support is
different on
support,
court.
but yeah, no.
So who was there that was famous other than Cosby when Cosby was on trial? Nobody.
Oh, Felicia Rashad stood by.
Yeah, but was she in the courtroom?
I don't know about that, but she.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, but she had her support was unwavering for him during the process.
Oh yeah, because she know.
Yeah. But
My thing is-
they don't got none of that. Ain't no listen. They don't listen. They scared to death to be named, because it's people names is coming out in this paperwork. Names are coming out in this paperwork.
Yeah.
A lot of names.
Having a party and having a freak off is different.
The thing is this, though, we don't know. So that's part of the conspiracy part, is him using all of his resources to make a thing disappear. It's coercion. It's fraud.
You mean that stuff that Trump do? Did he get away with? My bad. Shouldn't even bring that up.
Same deal. Same deal. Right? So you got to understand something. Diddy's charges are very, 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 very similar to Epstein charges.
Yeah, but this New York, not Florida.
Same difference.
And
Charges
I-
are charges.
Listen, and
Federal charges count in every state the same way.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, Pam Bondi not in charge of this. Well, she is now, but
I'm just saying.
when she was the head person down in Florida, and Epstein was on the thing, she gave him this pat on the wrist
pat on
type
the wrist.
thing. Now, she the head of the FBI. Well, she the top cop,
Top cop.
and she hasn't
not top
released.
cop.
She hasn't released the files, the Epstein files. But you know why? Because Donald Trump's name is in there. That's for sure. He been to Epstein Island.
Yeah.
So
So the point is, there's a lot of circumstantial information that paints a horrible picture of Diddy that may or may not be connected to the actual charges. And in today's society, perception is reality.
right.
Okay?
So dirty you up, you guilty.
And the
automatically.
waters are so muddy right now. People so caught up in, you know, I don't want to say whatever he was doing was vile. People are saying it's vile, disgusting, but people got their preferences, and you don't let them be great, right?
Man, people be doing that in these dungeons out here, man.
They talked about the incessant drug use and then the IV care to come back from it. You know what I mean? You gotta understand something. You had nearly unlimited resources. You could take 4 days doing whatever it is that you want to do, and then in another 4 days medically reviving yourself. You can do that if you so chose to.
If you got that money, yeah.
Right. Her language has been, I did it because I loved him, because we were together. Right? So now they're trying to build the case for manipulate what she manipulated. And was there an opportunity for her to say, no, I don't want to do it? And if she ever said that, would there be repercussions? And her answer has been yes, because he would get angry and he would threaten to cut everybody off in a heartbeat, and he could do it. So maybe she was coerced. Who knows? It's still early.
It's still early.
It's still early. You got people. Dawn Richardson is now. I know she testified yesterday, or Friday, or she's due to testify. No, she testified already because she said she witnessed him hit her in the head with a skillet.
Hit Cassie in the head with a skillet?
Yeah.
Wow, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I need to go back over the case.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take a deep dive into it tonight.
So the question is, the prosecution is, well, if she was afraid of rejecting him, that means
She was coerced.
she was coerced. And that is the nature of the charge. You see? So people are getting caught up in how crazy the information is versus what the information actually means. You see? Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't like that when people do it in everyday life. You see?
Okay.
People like to get caught up in the example versus the point that's actually being made. You see?
Sometimes.
And I blame it on technology to a degree, because year after year, our attention span for conversations is getting shorter and shorter. Right? Mm-hmm. Actual conversation has lost its integrity to a huge degree, in a sense that it has become very difficult to have a reasonable conversation. You see? There was a moment where...
Now when you're face to face, it's more like people don't, because of technology, people don't really call people no more. It's always a text, something quick. And that's what's cutting out the conversation.
I absolutely enjoy the power of text message. I'm a texter. The fastest way to probably reach me is a text message, honestly. However, it all depends. Sometimes you can have a whole conversation in text message, sometimes you can't. However, like you and I, right? If you text me, you and I can have a text conversation over the course of a day, because I know you're not going to lose context of the conversation.
Right.
You see? Context is easily lost in text messages.
It is.
You see? So, there was a time someone would come to your house to visit you. And what did you do when you visited? You had a conversation.
Correct.
You talked about Jet Magazine, TV show that you watch, planning family events.
Whatever.
You didn't go to people's house just to get on their Wi-Fi.
Wasn't no Wi-Fi.
I'm just saying.
Back in the day.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can go over there and say, I need to get on your AOL.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, you didn't go over somebody's house and sit there for hours and hardly ever engage with them. That doesn't make any sense. You see?
Right.
That's okay. I'm off my rant, but that's a little pet peeve of mine. Just human interaction altogether has been disintegrated to a degree
Because of technology.
because of technology. Yeah, that's what I think. But that's neither here nor there.
Right. So, subject number 2,
Go.
Adriana Smith. A family down in Georgia is being forced to keep their brain dead family member on on life support because she was pregnant at the time she went brain dead. So how the story goes is she went in because she was having some head pain, went to get checked by the doctors. They gave her some meds. They sent her home. They never did any CT scans or scans of anything of her head. Overnight, she basically had some strokes. Boyfriend woke up, found her gurgling and all that. They rushed her to the hospital. Found out she done went brain dead. This was back in February.
Okay.
So, because she was 9 weeks pregnant at the time, the government is making her stay on life support until at least 32 weeks.
So they can induce labor.
Then they're gonna induce labor at that time. And the family has no choice, no say, none of this, because they've effectively banned abortions. So what's your take on that? Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, I'm gonna err on the wrong on that one. So many layers to this.
And I'm gonna say you're right about saying they're wrong.
There's so many layers to this, right? So I'm gonna assume that if this law has been adopted, it's because of whoever is in leadership in that space, in terms of the government, is more of a religious-based situation, even though in this country we have a separation of church and state. Okay?
Supposedly.
So I'm going to err. So when I say what I'm saying, in part is because that's what I believe. That there's some religious epitome behind the law. Okay? Because really that's the only source that I can think of that would use banning abortion as a thing. Is for some religious reason overall.
So,
Abortion is a relatively new concept. Like it's a modern concept. It's not, you're not going to find abortion in the history books.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like as a tactic to avoid giving birth after someone is pregnant.
Right, but when the Constitution was made,
Abortion was not a thing.
right, but what was a thing was the First Amendment.
Okay.
So what happens to that? The First Amendment gives you freedom of religion. What if I don't practice religion? How you putting your religion into a law to affect me?
That's why you got to pay attention. That's why it's important to vote.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You gotta, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? If you in that voting booth and you say, I'm gonna vote for this wannabe elected official because they share the same religious beliefs that I have, then that's what you're supporting. You see? So when this situation occurs, this is what you're asking to have happen for you. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I'm saying in theory, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing, okay? It's no different from 9/11, right? The public in general, lately more so than but when 9/11 happened back in the 90s,
Back in the 90s.
early 2000s, right? when 9/11 happened, people by and large did not understand foreign relations and affairs. You see? Mm-hmm. So you have our government who is representing us as a country in other countries.
Right.
Right? So the decision was to attack the voters because the voters elected the leaders. Same circle. But that's neither here nor there. The other reason I disagree with it, why I think it's wrong, is for health reasons. Right? This woman is essentially a vessel for the birth. So this pregnancy may not even be healthy.
May not.
You understand what I'm saying? She's not getting the exercise that's needed. She's in a coma. Is that what you said?
No, she ain't in a coma. She brain dead.
She's brain dead. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's not getting the physical movement that's required for a healthy pregnancy. They're gonna give her food like substance. They're gonna give her nutrition to keep her alive. But the communication that comes from her body to the baby's body.
Yeah, none of that there.
Right. I mean, okay, physically it's going to work, but spiritually,
right,
emotionally, it's not going to work. You see?
Like they wouldn't do this to an animal though.
Animals aren't people.
I'm just saying, they wouldn't do this to a dog.
A dog
they wouldn't keep a dog alone.
Dog's not a person.
What I'm saying is,
it's a creature, yes.
You wouldn't mistreat a dog. Why would you mistreat a human? This is mistreatment. You shouldn't be in this family's business like that.
I agree with that part. I absolutely agree with that part. I'm saying this is not going to be a healthy pregnancy. It's not. And on top of that, the expense to keep her alive up until the 32 weeks is insane.
And it's being put on that family.
That's insane.
It's being put on that family.
That is absolutely insane.
And you telling them that they have no recourse. No. They can't make no decisions, but yet you're putting this expense on them.
Yeah, no. And even if she does, so first of all, 32 weeks is not to term. Let's start there.
No, nope.
32 weeks left. So she's already 9 weeks in. So another 32 weeks.
Yeah, she was 9 weeks in February.
In February. Okay. So you add another 38 weeks. Okay, she'll be at term. But my perception is that even if the baby is born healthy, it's going to have early onset issues.
I believe that too. It's got no connection to his mother.
Got no connection to his mother. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, I'm talking about early onset health issues like Alzheimer's, diabetes, organ issues, you know what I'm saying, cirrhosis, might have MS. It could be any number of things. This baby might be diagnosed with autism. You just never know. There's so many medical complications that could happen as a result of this on the back end that don't make any sense. Like, it's all, and none of it is predictable. You don't know how this kid is going to end up in the long run.
I'm just against this forced pregnancy thing. Man.
And then not to mention the emotional torture that you're putting the family through.
The people that made up this law, I guarantee you, if men was getting pregnant, if men was the ones that were carrying it, this law would not be in existence. I mean, you forcing these women, and this woman dead. Now she got no say-so over her body. She can't leave the state. She can't do nothing. No, she got a boyfriend.
Mm. So her parents really the only ones that could fight back for her.
Right.
For real.
They can't do nothing.
Mm. 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 Mm.
This woman, 30, lost her life. One, because the hospital failed to scan her head when she went in there with that head pain.
They better sue.
Just gave her some medicine.
Oh, they better sue. I got malpractice written all over it.
So, it's just all wrong. That's a sad case. I feel bad for this family.
It's a sad state of affairs, Joe.
And I think this should be the reason that somebody litigates this and gets that law changed. This is the very essence.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree with you on
When
that.
they talk about scenarios on, oh, what if this happens? What if that happened? Now, this has happened. And that government, that governor who signed that law has said, you know what? You don't deserve to make a decision about how your family happens,
Yeah,
operates.
yeah.
Where's the freedom in that?
She black?
Yeah, she black. Where's the freedom in that, though? I thought this was the land of the free.
Yeah, well.
Land of the free, right? Home of the brave. Who's gonna be brave
So-
enough to stand up to this dictator government?
So let's back up a bit, right? In this country, you have a separation of freedom. I mean, a state and religion, right? Separation of state and religion.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, you can practice any religion that you like without persecution. Any religion that you like. And no one can harm you or attempt to, do anything to you because of the religion that you practice. That's the law. All right? They don't have to agree with you. They can certainly have an opinion about it. But in this respect, this is a predominantly Christian country. And, for lack of a better phrase, biblical epitome does not really support abortion. Not really. To some extent, it will even say that there is punishment in the afterlife because of
Well, let it be in the afterlife.
it. Not right now.
No, let it be in the afterlife.
So
Let me find out, because your afterlife might not be my afterlife.
I'm just saying. That's true. That's true. But whatever the government leadership is in that country,
State.
for that state is very, it's a religious-based situation in my mind's eye. Until they change whoever is in governance in that location, they're going to be subject to that. There's a lot of power in voting. A lot of power in voting.
Yeah, they better start getting out there and voting.
Mm-hmm. And this,
They should have elected Stacey Abrams, and they wouldn't be in this predicament.
see, separation of church and state. The vote got nothing to do with religion. It's very important to be an informed voter. You see, not just
That's very true.
voting off of popularity or whatever your religious belief is. These people are making laws.
Right, but
They're making decisions, right? Policies.
the object is the people in power, the current power structure, they want a dumb electorate. So you go with what they tell you versus going out, educating yourself and saying, nah. That's not what it is.
A public official is supposed to represent the voice of the people. Now, I understand there's a lot of layers, how the electoral college work and all that other stuff. We get all that. But essentially, an elected official is supposed to reflect the voice of the masses. Supposed to,
Yeah.
right? And until we get back to that, you're going to have stuff like this.
To
If the
people.
masses have a religious voice, and then that, okay, so be it. But obviously, so number one, policy is not going to be useful to everyone. There are some people who are going to suffer injury from policy, good or bad. It's not going to solve everyone's problem because
You can't solve everyone's problem.
exactly, and it's not, and policy is not going to err in the way of support for someone either, because just based on the pace of society, policies are reactive, right? Today's time doesn't reflect yesterday's time, so policies got to be updated to reflect our current reality.
Correct.
That's it.
people need to stick together, man. That's what they need to do. They need to come together, the people, the masses, and not let these billionaires rule us.
Finances.
Once we start doing this, once we come together as a collective and stop letting the 1% control everything.
Yeah, fat chance of that happening.
It's possible, man. If we want it to happen, we gotta will it to happen. That's how I see it.
The economics is gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Simple. Like we not.
I mean, billionaires don't get rich without the lower class.
This is my point. So economics, the redistribution of economic resources will absolutely change things. However, the way that our economy is built relies on people not wanting their fair share.
Right.
Relies on it.
Having that worker bee mentality.
Exactly. You can't have all chiefs. You got to have some Indians.
That's for sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's for sure.
I'm not saying
it's always going to be some workers.
I'm not saying mistreat the Indians. I'm saying everybody can't be a chief. It just doesn't work like that.
Right. It's always going to be some workers. I'm not saying that.
Bill Gates. He donating his whole boat when he died. They're going to, over the course of 20 years, they're going to dismantle Bill Melinda Gates Foundation philanthropy.
And just donate it all.
That's what they're saying.
Okay, that would be good. I hope they donate it to some people that need it.
This is not going to be personal. It's not going to be personal.
I'm talking about some, not just giving it to libraries and shit like that, things like that.
Maury Povich.
What about it?
You heard what he did, right?
No.
Okay. Maury Povich, married, has 2 kids. Right?
Yeah.
He also had a family with a staff member from the show who is black, and they have 2 children.
Okay.
Okay. In his will, he essentially left all of his wealth, or the majority of his wealth, to those children, the black children.
Oh, okay.
Basically saying, listen, y'all had a great life. My kid, the ones I had, I'm Jewish. Yeah. The ones I had with my wife, and those kids, y'all had a great life. I couldn't do right by these 2 over here.
So they're going to get the rest.
They getting the rest.
Right.
Y'all got a fair shake. Figure this out, however you're going to figure it out. But you set.
I'm not mad at that.
Them 2 over there?
Now they're going to be set. Now they're going to be set.
He couldn't come to no birthday parties. He couldn't support. He couldn't be around them. Religious, Jews, they don't eat Jewish law. They don't, he got an image to maintain. You know how that go. But these 2 over here?
I'm glad he did that.
Y'all all set.
I'm glad he did that.
Now they knew that was their dad though, but they couldn't be like, yo,
right,
Maury is my pops. You know what I'm saying? They weren't poor.
I mean, they stopped the Maury show.
I'm saying they wasn't poor. The mom made good money. You know what I'm saying? And he hit him from in the background. He hit him, but they wasn't.
I'm just saying. I'm glad he did that.
Was that right or wrong? That's not the question that I got for you. But in that sense, you think this whole?
I feel like
think he did the right thing. Think he did the right thing.
I feel like he did the right thing.
I do too.
I think he gave his first family the
what they
structure,
deserve. What they deserve, for sure.
everything,
Yeah.
and a chance to keep moving the foot forward.
Yeah.
And then he gave the back family on the back hand side, like, here, I couldn't do it the way it should have been done.
Correct.
Y'all take it and go forward and do what y'all
they wasn't hurting.
do.
It wasn't like they wasn't on welfare. No, they wasn't hurting. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that. Huh. But not hurting and having some wealth is different, right?
That's true. That's true. What's the young NBA player boy who paid the 18 years of child support in front?
Ant-Man. Anthony Edwards.
Right or wrong?
Right. Let me hit you up. Break you off. Right now. Got these years out the way.
Languages, he also said, I ain't really want nothing to do with you. I definitely want nothing to do with the baby. I'm going to give you this 18 years of child support right now.
Right.
Don't call, ask me for nothing.
You got it. You good. What you decide to do with this money, it's all on you, because I'm done. I'm signing my rights away, because I told you I didn't want nothing to do with it, but it's your body, your choice. I gave you your money.
Baby about to grow up without a father. Young boy about to have no. I mean, you don't know who his pops is, but don't.
Yeah,
but don't, because I told your mama I ain't want nothing to do with this. She
Right.
went and did it anyway.
She said she seen this way. This was her way
Of coming up.
So,
Absolutely.
because you did it this way, you're the reason he's growing up without a father, him or her. You're the reason. You did this.
You did this.
You made the decision because you said it was your body and your choice.
Mm-hmm. She made a choice. He made a choice.
Right.
She got the compensation that she was looking for because
Right.
for her, this was a transaction.
That's what it was.
But it's a whole life involved.
That's
in it.
what
It's
it was.
A life.
That's what it was. And in Georgia, she would have been made. She wouldn't have had no choice but to keep it anyways.
Right.
Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, she'd have had no choice but to keep it anyways.
Okay.
So, I believe he was all the way right. And there's some people that are going to say he's wrong. Because they think that she should be able to, when he get that new contract, she should be able to get some of that money.
No. That's why he did it, though.
I know.
He said,
That's what the women want for her. They want her to get his money off of his hard work, off of his dedication.
You heard what Ross said.
Huh?
You heard what Drake said. Not Drake. I mean, not Ross, Drake.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym?
That you weren't with me shooting in the gym?
That's what I'm saying.
Just saying.
I like that for him. Because you know who should have did that?
Who?
That guy from the Carolina Panthers. When that girl was having a baby to squeeze money out of him.
Okay. 50 did another power move on his front too, though. You heard what he did?
On whose front?
50.
Oh no, what he did?
Right or wrong? So, he had been voluntarily paying child support to the tune of $40,000 a month.
Oh, you talking about with his son? Yeah. So then he took it to court, got it reduced. Don't ask me for nothing.
Don't ask me for nothing.
Yeah. I was giving you way more.
Right or wrong?
Absolutely right.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Since you want to argue the fact, you want to go back and forth. You think so the money that I'm giving you, that I'm voluntarily giving you, is not enough.
Yeah. So she went to court
and lost it all.
And lost because she was trying to get more. Greed will get you every time.
Now she's down to a couple thousand a month.
Yeah.
A few thousand a month.
Now she's down to he just having that automatically taken out of his account. He don't even count for it no more. He don't even think about it because it ain't that kind of money no more.
50 got that. Listen, I don't think he was losing 40,000. He probably
Yeah. But I'm just saying now she getting $8,000 a month when you was getting 40. And the judge said basically if you can't live off of $8,000 a month, something wrong because you should be working. And you getting free $8,000 a month.
Archie Rao's messenger audio call.
Cuzzo, you back at the house?
I'm way home right now. I'll be home in 5 minutes.
All right, I'll be there. I'll be at about 3 o'clock or so.
3 o'clock?
Yep, give or take.
Okay.
All right.
No problem. All right.
All right. So you saying that was the right thing to do?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Okay. All right.
He didn't do it.
She did it to herself.
She did it to herself.
Yeah. No, but think about it. He was smart for getting in front of it, though. He said, "I'm just gonna go ahead and give you this money." He was already he wanted he was just giving her the money.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 40 grand.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
And she did. 40 wasn't enough. She thought she could get 100. Well, I tell you what.
Perception, bro.
Now you're getting 8.
Perception is a motherfucker. It's a motherfucker. Right? Perception will. Somebody was spilling snake oil in her area because perception will thinking about the future, right? Say you hit the lotto.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never had no job. You hire me as your driver.
Mm-hmm.
And as your driver, say you pay me $20 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Drive you around, right? So I'm hearing all these business meetings you having. I'm seeing all these deals you making. So I know you got more money than you won in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I'm proud of you, I'm going home. I'm telling my old lady, hey, listen, man, because I'm doing it big, got me a job. What does she say?
That's all he paying you?
You hear me?
That's all he paying you? He making
No,
all
no.
this all
And I
he
say,
paying
no,
you?
no, no, you gotta understand something. I ain't did nothing but been in jail. I ain't never had no real job. Cause they're plugging me in, I'm happy to see I'm winning.
But he should be paying you more. That's family.
Exactly. So what do I do? Eventually, what do I do?
You
No, listen,
buy,
you understand? No, and on top, not only do I drive for you, right? Because we come into all your stuff, so we see this lavish life that you're living, right? My kids is playing with your kids because they cousins,
right?
right? So, eventually I say to you, hey, cuz, you think I can
Get
get a
raised?
couple more dollars? Right? Now, mind you, I got no skills. I really don't know how to do nothing. Right? I have not realized that even as a driver, you already paying me more than other drivers are making. You see?
Yeah.
Lost perception. Now I'm looking at you sideways because she got me looking at you sideways. So when you tell me no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I quit or do I just stay resentful and keep driving?
I don't know. That's on you.
Exactly.
That's on you.
But you see the perception though.
Yeah.
The
You went from making no dollars an hour, right?
Yeah.
Struggling.
Yeah. Hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting your life back on the line
Every day.
to having $20 an hour job.
Yeah.
With no problems with you, no risk to your freedoms.
At all. This money coming in every week and you paying me cash.
Under the table. Look at this. How can you beat that? And you probably getting more than what you work.
Because things is happening.
You know.
Yeah.
You might drive him around 4 hours a day, but he might be paying you 8.
You never know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's all kind of person. Yo, cuz here, I'm going to get me a watch. Get cuz a watch. It's all kind of things happen.
My thing is, that's why you can't be listening to these women out here like that. Because they always want more. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw the video. She said, I don't get it. I'm waiting for the
I was waiting for more.
Waiting for more.
He's like, that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. Okay, so you ready for my question?
Yeah. What's this big question, bro?
I saw this in a clip, and it kind of made sense to me. Men are not like women. Women are not like men, right?
Mm-hmm.
As they get closer to maturity, there comes a point where they can't even produce eggs anymore. Right? So literally, women are disappearing eternally from the beginning. Right?
Yeah.
From childbearing to not childbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That has a spiritual connection.
Okay.
So there comes a point where women become barren. There's a finality to it, is the point.
Yeah, well, they can no longer do it anymore.
Guys, however, infinite. We can make children till we can't. Right? A 50-year-old man can get a 20-year-old woman pregnant.
Right.
Okay.
70-year-old man can get a
70-year-old man can get a 35-year-old
As
woman
long as he's
pregnant.
taking care of himself.
Exactly.
He's in good health. Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine this. Do you believe that men would operate differently if you only had 200 nuts? You only get 200 and you're done. Would you behave sexually different?
Yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't be going out doing just slinging it. They're gonna behave different
How so?
because they're gonna be conservative. They gonna be like, man, I only got 20, 50 of these. I gotta,
you gotta spread these out.
right. I got a whole life to live. I'm finna give them up early on scallywags. Nah, they listen.
Would you
that's
blow?
serious, man?
You probably blow your first couple though. You got 250 sound like a lot, don't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but it ain't a lot.
The real number is really 200, but I don't know how you got to 250.
You said 250.
I said 250?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I said 200. Okay.
No, you said.
Okay, let's go with 250. Let's go with 250 then.
Right. You might blow off your first 250.
Between when?
Yeah, you might blow off your first 50.
Let's say you get them at 18. You got a fresh 250 at 18.
I'm gonna say between 18.
25. 18, 25.
18 and 25, you might blow off 50. You might just blow them off,
Okay.
It ain't no rhyme or reason to why you did it.
Okay.
But once you know you only got 200 left.
Okay. And now you're 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're going to be picking and choosing. You're going to be picking and choosing. You're going to be like, I ain't trying to give these away unless I see there's something going on here.
Right.
I mean, if you're a man who believes you want to have a family, you want to do stuff like that.
Now, mind you, the same thing happens to men when you get to the end. Your joint only work for pissing.
Yeah.
No more erections, no nothing. You're done.
So they definitely
you can't have. This is not about because see if you can still
but
have kids.
That's not the same for women though, bro.
They can't have babies.
They can't have babies, but they still get stimulated. They still can have sex and all that stuff. That's not fair.
Okay, so let's say
you can still ejaculate, but you just can't produce no children after you're 250.
Can't produce no children after 250.
Yeah, they gonna act this way, bro. A person now, because there is some men out here who don't want to have kids.
True.
So they're just gonna blow through their shit.
They're gonna blow through their 250.
They don't give a fuck. Who cares about them 250?
Yeah,
I ain't trying to produce no kids anyways.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he might pump a couple out.
I just go ahead and
let me get these out the way.
And I don't good and well.
Right.
I'm
you
on
can't say I blew through my 250 when I was 19.
Yeah.
I blew through those.
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom getting rid of those. You're not gonna say I got you pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's nasty work. So, you think women would be like, hey, how many you got left?
He might be like, man, I lost count. I lost count.
Is that going to be a part of the relationship conversations, though? Like, how many you got left with you?
Yeah, because
About 100.
we got to make sure these line up. If you're trying to have kids, you got to make sure when I'm ovulating, you ready to put one of these out.
Heard. So what you think a man's mental or emotional state might be when he on say he 40 and he on his final 5?
Listen, and he ain't producing, he trying to produce?
Let's say he got a couple kids already, but
Okay, if he got a couple kids already, it might be a situation. It's different than when you don't got none and you want some. Now you stressed. You like, now, let me go out here and find me one of these fertile females.
You want a fertile myrtle?
Yes.
Okay.
But
So let's talk about it in a different kind of light, right? What if you found the one person that you want to spend your whole 250 on? I'm right here for the whole 250.
mm-hmm.
What kind of connection you think that would be?
That's going to be a deep connection.
That's going to be a pretty powerful connection, bro.
Yeah.
It would
That's going to be
right?
some shit that
you
you
would think
felt.
so. That would be, even if y'all didn't have kids. Let's say you caught her around. Let's say she caught you around 225.
Right. And you just said, you know what? This the one.
Yeah.
I gotta be deep.
She counting down for you.
She counting down for me?
What? You think she ain't what she is? Huh? Because you supposed to be on 187. How you down to 150? It's a conversation.
How she counting? How she know? Is there a ticker? Is there
I'm
some
saying
kind
that. I mean,
of label on me?
You gotta
Like I
imagine.
have my asthma pump?
You gotta imagine that. Asthma pump. You gotta imagine
because
that.
the asthma pump, you can see the number on the
You
back.
gotta imagine that she keeping count, bro. You gotta know that she keeping count for it with you. Because if you meet her and you say, listen, I'm about 225. Oh, about 225 left. She counting 225 and down from there.
Hold on, but what if I was at 240?
Okay, so you're
And I
240.
just gave her a round number. I just said, oh, 230, 225, when I'm actually higher.
So you're starting out with deception.
I'm just saying, you never know what the situation is.
You never know.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I don't tell motherfucker my birthday the first day I meet him.
That's true too. Yeah.
So why would I give him my body count first? First day I meet him.
I'm about at 100, so she gonna do it. Oh, you got about 150 left. Okay.
I ain't counting her eggs. I ain't counting her periods, stuff like that.
I mean, okay. No, just a question. I thought it was interesting. I said,
Yeah, I mean that is an interesting call. That is an interesting call.
it's
but they definitely gonna behave different. You know,
absolutely. I absolutely believe that.
The majority of the men gonna behave different.
Yeah. Okay, well, shit, it's been good talking to you today.
Yeah, we had a good one. You know. And if you enjoy this content,
Oh yeah.
please do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Signing off.
Signing off. Respectfully.
Don't forget to subscribe.